All right, fucking start. Do it. Plymouth Rock. So, you all will be deployed to the Carib system originally settled by the Karakan trade barons, House of Sulphur, some 300 years ago. The Carib system is populated by people called the Tiano people on the planet of Tiano, actually. Tiano people are not a monolith. They are a accumulation and assortment of four different political ideological groups. There's the Caliphate of Pisha. There's the Trade Barons or Trade Company of Bria. There's the Grand Duchy of Kria, and there's the Sea of Tano, S-E-E of Tiano. All four of these exist in harmony somewhat. You'll find out later. Under the apparatus of the Carib system and on the planet of Tiano. There's an organization called TICE, the Tinoan Instruments of All States. It's an agreement, part agreement and part organization, much like the UN, that is a culmination of all these groups, and they represent the Carib system on the galactic scale, and more specifically with Infocane. Tiano had a little debacle some many years ago where they fought back against the Karakan trade barons, House of Sulphur, because they have not been managing the colony so well. There's famine, there's death, there's a lot of bad things. And so the Tiano people rebelled, gathered together and started a revolution. And with the help of Infocane, fought back the House of Sulphur and reclaimed their own ownership, their independence over the planet of Tiano and the Carib system. But that was a long time ago. Now, like I said, the Carib system and Tiano exist in harmony and in independence. But where you all's story starts off is with a story, a short little story. Your story starts off with an unnamed and unseen voice. It goes like, settle down, settle down. There will be a story for each and every one of you on this day. Attune your ears, stay your rustling bellies, for I will fill them with histories left yet to be told. Histories for which will consume you and build you into another. One you will not recognize, so do not think to peer at your reflection. That person will not be you. You is the one sitting here today. You is the one yet to venture to lands untold before this day. You is the one I call Ndudu. You are but a thread in the needle for which I will make you into what I need you to be, because I am sure you know why. Because if you do not possess the prowess for my ask, we will both be there. There will both be no tomorrow. Again, settle down, settle down. Let me tell you of the story of the Plymouth Rock and its subsequent death. We will start off on a massive ship floating and floating towards the Carib system. You guys can see it now. The ship is the IPSN Cologne, the Interplanetary Shipping North Star Cologne. It is a massive colony ship that is in the Indel and floating towards the Carib system. It is a culmination of many different political and cultural groups on this one ship. And is sanctioned by Infocane, and more so, it's owned and kind of managed by the Interplanetary North Star Shipping Company. So, a carrier ship jointly ran by the IPSN and Infocane. It is a large ship that is part of a larger fleet deployed across the Indel. Upwards of 300,000 lives live and breathe, work and play on the carrier, as it is a medley of delights and cultures that surprise most Union diplomats that have become aware of it. Today, though, it is a special day because amidst the miscreants, impy, and albatross pilots and odd mercenaries who mingle through the ship searching unknown aims, there are three souls that stand out amongst the clutter. Rico, you are in your domicile here on the IPSN Cologne. And you hear three knocks at the door. Doosh, 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 doosh. Under the door, you see a little flyer slip underneath the door. And your quarters is kind of like Spartan and make. It's probably like size of like a 200-foot studio. There's a bed, there's a sink, and then there's like a window that sees like a small little port window that sees like out into the expanse of space. But you get this little sheet that slides under your door, almost like a flyer that someone would put in your car. That you hate those people who put their flyers in the car, you know. But, like, yeah, they slide it under your door.
Rico is going to take off his goggles and like look up from whatever crazy nonsense he was tinkering with, and walk over to this flyer, pick it up, and just sort of curse to himself about more advertisements coming every day.
Nice. Do you want to describe your character real quick?
Sure. Rico is probably like just below average height, very prodigious amount of afro sticking out the back of his head, thick beard, sort of caramel skin. Imagine me, but like hotter.
Okay. I can't imagine that. I don't
Stop it. But he is wearing probably two massive like orange gloves that are clearly like meant for science with a capital S.
Yes.
He has a pair of oversized orange goggles hanging around his neck, and has just sort of various gizmos just sort of hanging off of him from tool belt and all that kind of stuff. Just probably missing a piece of an eyebrow from being scorched at some point.
All right, Canon. Who is Rico though? Who are they?
Who is Rico?
Yeah.
Rico, I suppose, I'm not exactly sure. Let's say he is a former Harrison Armory scientist who quit and sort of left, and it is unclear whether they know that he has done that yet. He didn't put in a formal resignation and probably still has some of his accounts probably haven't been canceled yet. So he still tries to log in and use that stuff as much as possible. But former hard light scientist working for Harrison Armory who has struck out on his own because they were not respecting his work, in his opinion.
Nice. Would you say Rico feels like they're on the run? Maybe a little bit apprehensive?
It's not so much that I am on the run. It's that if they find out I am gone, they are going to cancel all of my logins, and I don't want that to happen. So I sort of have to like make it seem like I am still there whenever possible. Just try to fly under the radar, like, and make sure that nobody realizes that I have left.
Nice. You know what? With that description, give me a D20 roll.
Oh dear. All right, let's see if I even know how to do that in this thing.
It's a flat D20 roll.
Sure thing, boss. Roll.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, with the 12, as this knock comes on your door, and a flyer flies, kind of slides underneath the sliding door, you get an icon that pops up on your OmniSlate that's probably sitting on your desk or something like that. And it's a notification from Harrison Armory, and they're wanting to know when you're going to report to work. But then you probably have like some automatic kind of response type thing that says, you know, I'm here and this is what I'm working on. And you send it to him and it just slides away.
Yeah, I did it.
Nice. But yeah, on this flyer is a notification for a brawl that is happening on the IPS in Cologne, unsanctioned. It looks very not avant-garde, but like very punk, and it's got like some weird like graphical layouts, and it's like fight coming on. It's probably like a holographic thing that like when you pick it up, it like preaches out to you or whatever. It's like fight coming on, the big fight between. Hold on, let me remember the character's name. The big fight between Katja Sinclair, aka Heavy Gear, and a special appearance from Riho. Is that your stage name, Claire?
Yeah, Riho.
What do you think pops up when this like flyer, like what pops up with Riho? Like the main event is this Katja person, aka Heavy Gear, but like what pops up when like it shows like Riho or whatever?
So this got thrown under my door.
No, this is thrown under Rico's door, but
Under
I'm trying to see, what's the holographic image that displays when like it advertises the fight?
Well, are they advertise? Oh, I guess they're advertising me. So what you're gonna see is like this huge beefy character, and next to her a very tiny character who's maybe about 5 feet tall, Japanese descent, beautiful long black hair that she's got like pinned up and like in curls, and she's wearing a modified sailor outfit, I think, is probably the easiest way to describe it. She's got like a big blue hair bow and like pink and white and blue frills all over her, and like a little magical girl skirt, but also shit like knee pads, because safety is important.
Do you have like a special pose that like pops up? It's like probably like replays like a GIF. Like, do you have like a special pose or something?
I mean, her signature pose is just kind of like pointing at the camera, like sort of finger guns. So
nice.
Yep, confirmed bisexual.
Nice. Well, yeah, Rico, you see that. You see this advertisement displaying Katra Sinclair, aka Heavy Gear, and Riho, the champion challenger. It's a big fight, and there'll be many people that from the IPSN Cologne that will be attending. You get the sense that, like I said earlier, it's not something that's sanctioned by the IPSN administrators of this ship, and it's gonna probably attract a little a shady crowd.
Right, and so clarification: is this a mech fight or a person-on-person fight?
It's a person-on-person fight. It's a wrestling match.
Excuse you, wrestling is real.
Huh?
Wrestling is real.
Oh yeah, I have quotations wrestling as in like, oh, you probably know this, Rico, is that the last time this was sanctioned, someone died.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Rico would probably just. Okay. Well, right. If Rico would probably talk to himself like, where there is fighting, there are people in need of weapons. Where there are people in need of weapons, there are people in need of experimental weapons. I need to go to this.
Nice.
Just talking to himself.
Nice. You know what's going to happen some 20 minutes from now.
Oh shit, then I need to go. He starts like packing up a whole bunch of stuff. There's like just machinery that doesn't seem to make any sense even to him sometimes, just like has an obscenely large backpack that he just like
Nice.
onto his
Nice. Well, you suit up there, your backpack on top, and assuming you leave your little domicile.
Yes.
Cool. As you leave, the door kind of opens and opens up into a corridor that is like the residential quarters of the IPSN Cologne. And you look to your right, and you see another picking up the flyer, and also really interested. And they lock eyes with you. They you probably know what an Infocane person looks like. They have their own Buzo, so it's like a hard suit that's skin tight that has like the imprints of like fingers, like the grooves and like kind of like fingerprint or whatever, all over the hard suit. And they've got some facial scarring, and then one of the more distinct features about them is that they have like 3 or 4 horns around their head, like little nubs, kind of like a Davrak, if you know from like Star Wars or whatever. They look at the flyer, and they look back up to you, and this is what they look like. And they say, "So, are you going to this fight?"
Yes, I am very interested in seeing the sort of back and forth. You know, the violence really gets to me. You know, yeah, it's just like very exciting, and then just want to see all of the big punches, right? Yeah, it's just good stuff. I assume you are also going to this thing?
Yeah, they kind of pocket the flyer and kind of stand to have a conversation with you. Walk 2 steps or whatever towards you, and they they're standing about like, I don't know, 6 feet tall or something like that, and they're pretty diesel or whatever. And they say, "Yes, I have nothing better to do, so why not we journey together, friend?"
Sure thing. Now, this is not the person I saw in the flyer, is it?
No, it's not. No, that was a woman. This is a man. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Cool. They put out their.
Rico was like super lying about all that with the stuff he just said, so he's just like, "Oh god," and he's just like looking uncomfortable as he walks down the hallway with this person with clearly like a bunch of science equipment strapped to his back.
Nice. This individual introduces themselves as Ganya. They almost like introduce themselves as Ganya like as they're gonna say something else, but they decide to like just keep quiet and not explain the rest or whatever. And they say, "The name's Ganya, and you might be."
Oh, my name is Federico Zeledon, but you can just call me Rico.
Federico Zeledon. Well met, friend.
Yes, well met to you, sir, as well, Ganya.
Have you been to one of these before? It seems quite interesting.
No, I have not been to one of them before. I heard that somebody died at the last one of these, and that they had stopped doing them. So I was surprised to get a flyer about it, but, it seems like something worth seeing.
I heard the same. All the more reason why I want to go. If there's a warrior amongst these fighters here, these wrestlers, whatever they're called, I might find use in them for my other endeavors.
Rico just sort of quietly panics, like, well, this person is crazy.
Nice. Well, if you guys proceed forward, if you don't have any more questions for Ganya, you guys proceed forward, walking through the myriad of people and senses and smells and sounds of the IPSN Cologne. You've been on the ship for maybe about a month now. You know that your destination is the Carib system and the planet of Tiano, because you're hired with a number of others to provide security for an event that you'll find out later. So you probably, I don't know, maybe you would have like interacted with a lot of people on the ship. Maybe you wouldn't have. You seem like a scientist type, so probably you would have stuck to yourself and like done your science.
Probably
things.
not.
Yeah.
Rico probably would have kept to himself for the most part.
Nice. But yeah, you two continue your trek to these fighting pits, following some circuitous paths. When you start to see the crowd that you would typically see at one of these things, you probably see, in fact, someone in probably a heart suit, and if you know it well enough, an Atlas heart suit, or rather mech. There's a character who looks to be Spari, that's standing some 8 or so, 9 feet tall in this hard suit, and they're just in line waiting to get into this event. But as that happens, pause there. Riho. Yeah. You are in a these like what do they call them? Locker room. You're in a locker room.
I don't know.
Esoteric locker room. Amongst you, you hear the announcer say, it's just like you hear the screams and roars of the crowd way off at the ring, kind of like, further on or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you hear those screams. You're like, oh my goodness, what an elbow! Holy shit! I didn't think we could do that. And the crowd just goes like crazy or whatever. But you're in the locker room with maybe 3 or 4 others. There's an individual who approaches you. Looks like it's a fighter that's up right before you. They're posited to go against Katja Sinclair, aka Heavy Gear. And they look at you and they probably know your illustriousness. Describe your character and describe who you are.
Yeah, so if I'm chilling in the locker room getting ready to go out, I'm going to be dressed to the nines, like full face makeup on, glitter everywhere. Like I mentioned before, the big, tall, ponytail with curls and a big bow and everything. Very magical girl. If you're a Sailor Moon fan and you know what Sailor V's sunglasses look like, she may or may not have a very similar pair in the color pink, because of course she does. And and so she's wearing over the knee boots that basically end in knee pads, because that is a good thing for wrestlers to have. And she's also got some wrist sort of frilly cuff things, just kind of all those sort of magical girl, I guess, elements in her costume. But she also stands at a whopping 5 feet tall.
Fabulous.
So she is tiny, and made of muscle.
Nice. Whoa. Nice. And who is Riho?
Riho is a wrestler, a pro wrestler who is famous across the galaxy for participating and competing in multiple different promotions. She currently holds a world championship belt from what's the name of the wrestling league? Did we ever decide that?
AW something, right? AWA. I think she said.
I don't remember. I don't know. Whatever. We're gonna call it Fighting World Star League. No, I'm just kidding. That's her dojo.
Nice. No.
Good old Fighting World Star League.
Fighting World
I like
Star
that.
League. All right,
I like
cool.
it. I like
So anyway, so she holds.
Taking notes. Taking notes.
Fuck. I sound like a random name generator. Anyway, so she holds a world championship belt, which means that she is the top female solo fighter in the entire galaxy, essentially, because it's the only promotion that matters.
Nice, very nice. So as this individual approaches you, she's positive to go against Katja Sinclair. She almost approaches you like a student would approach a teacher, and she looks pretty like well equipped to handle herself. She's probably standing somewhere at 5'6" or whatever, so she's taller than you, and she looks like a wrestler herself. Yeah, she's got tattoos all over her forearms, pink hair, kind of like like a spiked motion in the back, almost like a mullet that's like spiked in the back.
Ooh.
And you probably don't know her name because she's not as famous as you or whatever. But she's looking to prove herself, and so she looks at you, and as you're kind of like getting yourself ready in like your mirror or your locker or your training or whatever, and she says, "Riho, is that your name?"
Yeah, that's
She just
me.
asked. Okay, cool. And she says, "For one, it's an honor to be able to meet you in person. I've heard across you from the stories across the Indo. You're quite skilled. I've heard."
Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that my reputation precedes me. Who are you?
Yeah. My name is Fire. Well, at least that's my fighting name. I'm gonna prove myself against this Katja Sinclair, and the reason I came up to you was to ask if you had any tips or tricks for special moves or anything.
Well,
Can't you? There you go.
Riho's sitting there in her head going, this girl seems really serious considering so much of this is like staged. Well, I mean, I think that, how long have you been wrestling?
Only 5 years now.
Well, you should have some idea of your character's strengths, right? The things that you feel the best doing in the ring.
Well, I've got the intro down. I've got the taunts down. I've got the pins down. But I'll be honest, I heard the stories of Katra, and I'm getting a little cold feet. Don't know if I want to step in the ring.
It's not worth getting cold feet over. She's got to fight just like anyone else in this league.
Well, I guess you're right. Well, if I have your vote of confidence, you see her kind of straighten up a little bit and kind of like crunch her hands like this, and just think, I guess I'm ready. Time to set things ablaze. That's my name, Fire.
Go get it. You got this.
You hear the announcer from back says, "Oh, what a hit! Oh, Katra throws down again. Next challenger, the Blaze, the Inferno, Fire!" She says, "Guess that's me. I'm gonna do this." She goes back to her locker.
This girl is doomed.
Riho's like cheering from the locker room, like watching her towards the stage. And then as soon as she's out of earshot, Riho's just like, "Good luck."
Nice. What are your triggers, Claire? I mean, your Riho.
What, my triggers?
Yeah, your pilot triggers.
They're like pilot skills.
Oh.
So you double click your character token on the map on the screen. Oh wait, where'd your pilot? Oh, there it goes, Riho. Looks like you have apply fits to faces, charm, show off, and take control.
Where would that be?
So if you double click your character token,
I got
Riho,
that far. I just didn't see where you went. What?
And then under pilot narrative.
Pilot narrative. Okay. Ah, that's where they are.
Cool. Yeah, you have those four. It doesn't look like you have a Rita situation, but the role is to assess how well you think that Fire is going to perform,
Oh,
or how well you think that she's like, emboldened to actually perform against Katra. So I don't know if you have any triggers to really apply for that. So unless you can make an argument, otherwise just roll me a flat d20.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I'll
Right.
just roll. So then
Flat d20.
is that this one? Yeah. Roll. Wow.
Yeah. To
Incredibly
you,
average.
looks like fire is going to set things ablaze and win this whole fight, take down Katra, and potentially even give you a run for your money.
Ooh.
You probably see her as a rival, honestly.
Ooh.
You probably got that whole exchange between you and her as her trying to suss you out, and try to figure out your weakness.
Great. I love a good enemy.
Nice.
It's gonna be a great.
Nice. Well, as Katra as a fire heads out and goes to the ring and gets ready, and she kind of puts on her paraphernalia and such. Is there anything else you do here in this locker room? There seems to be some other fighters. Some look like they're a little bit more experienced in fighting in the IPS in Cologne. So you'd probably reason that someone has more experience here than not more experience than you as a fighter, but more experience just with this specific fighting ring. So what else do you want to do in this little locker room?
I mean, lots of stretching. So I always make sure that I stretch a lot before every match. And I need to also give myself time to just sort of breathe and chill out. So I'm going to make sure those bases are taken care of. But once I feel comfortable and confident and ready to go, I'm going to sneak out of the locker room just to scope out sort of what I can see from backstage, basically. And get a read on what's the ring look like, how close are people to the stage or to the ring, what's around.
Nice. Yes, you can definitely do that as you get your bit of stretching in and get prepared for your match that will occur shortly. Let me see. You start to hear the sounds of the crowd as it starts to echo through the locker room as you kind of go through the entry tunnel or whatever, and you hear people oh yeah, oh shit, oh my gosh. And the last fighter, but the one before Blaze, is pulled out of the ring by her arms. She's comatose, and you see Katja Sinclair there in the ring. It's almost like a bubble kind of around the whole ring, and there's 4 corners to the ring, but there's a bubble apparatus around the top. And Katra's standing almost 7 feet tall in the ring. She's like, yes. And she's hyping up the crowd, and the crowd's going crazy. Katra, yeah. And you're throwing money, and some people have some paper dollars in their hands. You're like, oh, hell yeah. And you probably catch a glimpse of Blaze and or Fire, and when she walked out of the tunnel, she was almost false bravado. And now you see as she's up next, and the announcer calls Blaze is up next. You see her figure kind of go into the immunitative state. She just slumps down. She's like, oh shit, this is not good. I just saw that person get dragged out.
I'm gonna shout fire, and kind of wave my hands at her and then give her a big peace sign.
Nice. She's gonna look back and she's like. Cool. So what do you actually want to what are you trying to survey or whatever?
Well, I kind of want to know the lay of the land, so I'm wondering, is there anything around the ring that I have to work with for some special moves, maybe?
Yeah, so it's like a typical wrestling ring. There's 4 corners. It seems that seems like the fighting pits here on the IPS in Cologne, like I said, are encapsulated by a bubble, so there's no escape. You would get that once you get inside. It's like a no holds bar cage match or whatever. Once you get in, there's no getting out until the other person's down. But there's people have different interpretations of what down means. Sometimes people that's dead. Who knows?
Great.
But the crowd is I don't know. There's 300,000 people on the IPS in Cologne, so I would say the crowd is maybe numbering in the tens of thousands. It's a really big crowd, and they're all yelling and You see betting going on, and you see people finding their seats. But as you start to, I mean, as you know, as people know that you're advertised on this fighting thing or whatever, as your match starts to come up, you see more people like kind of flood into the arena, and you probably see people with some Riho signs are like, oh,
Hell
Riho. And
yeah!
everyone's doing like your little like, and people like finger gunning, like that's your
Yes!
signature. Yeah. Do you want to know anything different than that, or?
No, that's sufficient.
Cool. As that happens, and you're kind of like surveying the area or whatever, Rico, you and Ganya start to find your seats. You all are maybe some 8 or so rows back from the ring, and you saw the debacle as you're sitting down. You saw the debacle unfold with this previous fighter who was taken out by Katra Sinclair. You know that Katra suplexed them, put them on the ground, decided not to pin them, and stumped on their face, and bad things happened. Ganya says to you, Rico, as you guys you two find your seat, that is not what I expected. I was expecting someone with more dignity.
I was just about to ask, is this like a normal thing that happens in here? Do they usually stamp on each other's faces at these things? Because, I mean, I suppose that's how people end up dying. Okay.
Ganya says,
Rico finds space for his massive backpack in front of his seat and
you like push through. Actually, if you two are finding seats, the row in front that you guys are like kind of like funneling into, you see the people move away. Like it clears out as Ganya approaches, and as you approach, and Ganya says, "There's some seats right here for us."
Once again, Rico's like, "Oh God, who am I standing next to?"
Ganya says,
"Quiet panic."
Ganya says, "Yes, I haven't been privy to these fights myself. Only recently was I stationed on this the Cologne for other reasons. But I'm glad to be here now."
So you are not. I was going to ask. You are quite the let's say imposing fellow. Are you perhaps? I was going to ask if you are a fighter yourself in this kind of thing, or if you have interests elsewhere. What is your story? Is what I'm wondering.
Ganya looks up at you like this, he's like, "Unfortunately, no. My calling is something more esoteric. I can't even tell you what it is, to be honest. But Infakani tend to carry a bit of breath in these parts."
That is good to know. Have you heard of any of the people that are about to fight in the next one?
Yes, I have heard mention of Katra. The stories tell that she is a mech pilot. She tends to pilot a berserker mech, but those are only stories. I've never actually seen any footage of her combats in the mech. But her combats in person, I've heard many stories of. She is a former Mirror Smoke mercenary, and her services go to the highest bidder, of what I'm told. Quite ruthless.
Interesting. So is that why you are here? Because you said you might have use for a warrior? Are you looking to hire a mech pilot or a mercenary, perhaps?
Unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately, my interest was directed towards the other, Riho. I hear she is quite illustrious across these parts. And also, some call her a Lancer.
Very interesting. Now, I have a question about the setting.
Yeah.
Is that, like, I assume that by being a player character in this game, I am also a Lancer, correct?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100% you're a Lancer.
Cool. Is that a thing that I should keep secret from this person that scares me?
Why? Do you want to give me a roll and like a? Do you have read a situation? Like
I
what
do
triggers
not.
you have?
Get
What triggers
somewhere
you have?
quick. hacker fix, inventor create, or investigate. I don't think any of those super apply to this.
Yeah, you can roll me a d20 if you want to suss out Ganya a little bit.
Okay, sure thing. Why not? But yeah, Rico is just. I guess if I have that's 10, Rico, I guess would just be like, oh, well, actually, I am a Lancer myself. That is very interesting to hear. I suppose that's what you were looking for, Lancer pilots.
Yeah, so with the 10, you get that Ganya doesn't, from what you can tell and from what their interactions have been with the people around here as you all have made your way to this fighting arena, doesn't seem like they're malicious in any way. It just seems like they have a reputation, not because of who they are, but because of what they represent. Because they're wearing the standard Infocani like heart suit, which is just in its own, it's a symbol. And they say to you as you say that, you, Rico, you are Lancer.
Correct. I am relatively new to the position, but I'm very excited to get out on the field, so to speak. I have lots of, let's call it field testing. I have lots of field testing to do.
Field testing. I see. I'm quite interested in this testing you speak of. Tell me, why are you on the ship?
I am on my way to be I'm going to work for Teist over in the Carib system.
You lie.
I'm speaking the truth. Why, are you also heading in that direction?
Yes, I am headed to the planet of Tiano to pick up Queen Shumakane.
Should I know who that is?
You did not know who Queen Shumakane is, no.
Okay, I'm just wondering if that was a
I
person.
mean, maybe you do. How much would you read of your mission dossier?
Not a lot.
Okay, you have no know what's going on.
Rico is here to test out to see if the weapons he's invented work. He is not interested in the politics of the region. He has no idea who he's even really working for. But he wanted to work, to get out in the field, to be able to test his mech shit in a place far away from Harrison Armory headquarters. That was all he was thinking about.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah, well, Ganya tells you he's there to pick up Queen Shumakane for whatever reasons, and he sees that he hears that you're also headed there, and he says, well, it seems the stars have aligned.
It's very lucky.
Yes, very lucky. Please, after this combat or this fight, this show, I'd like to talk to you, potentially Riho as well, if she'd survive against this figure, Katra Sinclair.
Rico is like, oh, I just thinking in his mind like, this place is insane. I mean, I guess I am a Lancer. My whole job is to like kill people, but like this is not a battlefield. This is a like entertainment, and people are just being killed in front of people. Anyway.
Yeah, you would probably. I mean, you get the sense from like what's going on right now. Like, of course, this is an unsanctioned fight. And I guess another question I have for you, Riho, is like, how did you even sign up for this? Because it seems like you're on like more like legit things, but like this is like a very unlegit thing. But yeah, you would know that the crowd is like, this is the what's not illustrious? What's a word for like the sketchy? I don't know. Like this is a very sketchy, unsanctioned thing. That just happens because people have a lot of time on the ship. They need to put their energy towards things, and this is one of those things.
Well, Riho's probably there because A, she's bored, and B, she is always looking for a new tag team partner so that she can get that tag team world championship, and maybe she'll discover someone in these underground fights.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right, cool. I like that. You're scouting. I like it.
Scouting. Aggressively with my fists.
Cool. So Rico, and as you sit down with Ganya, the rows around you start to fill in again, and you see the fight between Katra and this fire character unfold. What starts off as a pretty normal fight as they're kind of posturing and circling around the arena each other. Katra seems very disarmed and like very like, why am I fighting this peon? but Blaze or Fire's like really into it, and Blaze starts on a run and starts to like kind of clothesline Katra, but Katra literally just takes her arm and just like takes her face and slams him against the edge of the wall, and her face, like you see like almost like a small like blood splatter on the edge of the wall, and it kind of cracks a little bit, and Fire just goes down, like and she just goes down, and then Katra says and screams to the crowd, "Is there not anyone else who can take me on? This is not a challenge. Where is Riho? Tell me. Come to the arena. Face me. Heavy gear."
Heavy Gear. I keep hearing Metal Gear in my head.
You might say that Riho is a weapon to surpass Heavy Gear.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, this is what the fight pics look like. Yeah, pretty much.
Ooh. Yeah. Spicy.
Yeah, you see Blaze Fire go down, and they're just out cold. And the crowd, as Katra says that, the crowd starts going, "Riho, Riho, Riho, Riho."
All right. Cue my entry song.
Okay, entry song coming.
Wait, do you actually have one?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Fuck
I do.
Oh boy.
As the crowd screams Riho, after like a minute or so of like the crowd screaming Riho, a song starts to play. As the crowd goes like, "Ah!" and then the announcer says, "Oh wait,
Ladies and gentlemen, please
Hmm?
welcome to the battlefield the
guys hear
Minuscule
that?
Massacre, the Tiny Titan, the Kawaii Killer, the battle-hardened bite-sized brawler, Riho."
Nice, and the song continues to play as that goes on. And what's your entry look like? What's your entry?
Yeah. So as all this is going on, Riho is dramatically comes in down the center of the aisle, heading towards the stage, and she's wearing sort of a little white over jacket thing with like kawaii kitty ears and shit on it. So she's just kind of waving from one side to the other, back and forth to all of her fans, and like winking at them, and just really like powerfully unconcerned walking down this aisle. When she gets to the side of the ring, she jumps on up in there and kind of does sort of like a lap around the ring, also sort of like waving at everybody and like doing some finger guns and like whatever. And then she gets back to one corner. She jumps up on one of the posts, and from her position, this little perch sitting up in this corner, unbuttons her little overcoat jacket it's got like 3 big buttons on it, pulls it off to reveal her magical girl fighting uniform underneath, and then just drops it to the floor outside the ring behind her. And then she leans forward facing her opponent and just beckons with one finger, like, "Come at me."
Power move.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, you do that, and the crowd just goes fucking. It's like, "Ah, shit." And then Rico, as you two are probably surrounded by like fans of Riho, like the Riho fan club. You guys saw you ended up sitting in the Riho fan club. They're like going crazy, like, "Oh yeah," and they're like busting your eardrums or whatever. And Ganya's looking around like, "Oh shit." A lot of people love Riho. But as you do that, Riho, Katra picks up with one hand Fire off the ground, who's like out cold. Picks her up with one hand and holds her up with like her right hand, and just crushes her neck, and then throws her to the side.
Kills her?
I don't know. She crushes her, and she says, "This will be fun. Riho, do you dare step before me, Katra Sinclair?"
Riho's gonna lean forward, like still really cutesy, sitting on sort of like the edge of the ring, and like lean forward with like one hand by her ear and just be like, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you over my world champion belt."
"A champion for not too long. I will strangle you with that belt. Promise it."
She's just gonna kind of shrug and hop down like lightly from where she was sitting and sort of square up and get ready to wrestle.
Nice. Cool. Well, give me a roll with how you start off this fight. This fight's going to be handled in 3 rolls, Riho.
Okay.
You need to succeed on 2 of them to win.
Oh god. What are my rolls? What is it?
What triggers do you have?
Apply fist to faces.
Yep, sounds good.
And show off is really relevant here.
Ooh, I like that. Oh yeah. So you don't. They don't have to be like all combat. You can just show off and like build like support for you or whatever. Like just be creative.
Okay. All right. So like with roll 1, she's basically gonna taunt her opponent. So she's going to sort of kind of stay by the edges of the ring or whatever and kind of circle around like in a sort of defensive posture. And like break it every so often to like shoot finger guns at the crowd and shit just to like be like, I don't really give a fuck that you're here. Basically, like this is my ring.
Nice. Yeah, give me a roll. Just flat. Yeah. So what you can do? Well, no difficulty. Just roll your trigger. So it's gonna be show off, I think.
Yeah.
Just press the show off button. Yeah. And if you can. So when you roll narrative stuff, you can argue your background, and your background is what?
I think she's a celebrity.
Probably.
Celebrity. Yeah. You can argue that. What do you? Let me check real quick. I can probably see what your background is.
Is it my dossier? Yeah, celebrity.
Your celebrity? Okay, yeah. So you can add accuracy to it. So when you press the button for your trigger for show off, you can press in the bottom left will pop up. Well, in the bottom right will pop up, and then there's like a plus button. You can press the plus button.
For accuracy? Okay.
Yeah.
And then just roll?
Yep.
Did it work?
Nice. With a 16,
Ooh.
you were able to embolden the crowd as you thought the crowd couldn't get any like louder. And they just start fucking erupting, and like they just rush the edge of the arena.
Hell
and, like
yeah!
some people probably get knocked down, whatever. And you just got like crowd right at the edge of the arena. And they're like, and then like the crowd, you would imagine like the crowd was like would have been supporting Katra a little bit, but there's like no Katra fans out in here, as they're all just like holy percent. They're like going nuts and crazy. And it's a bunch of like sweaty nerds that are here supporting you. And you get the sense that Katra's a little thrown off by this. Like Katra's whole thing is violence, and that's how she gets her fame, by fear. And it doesn't look like anyone's really resonating with that fear. So you just kind of pump the crowd, yeah.
Riho's just kind of going to look at her and say, looks like your style wins you a lot of matches, but maybe not a lot of friends.
Nice. As you say that, Katra is going to hunker down and bounce off the edge of the ropes, doosh, and come running at you with the clothesline.
All right.
Like, doosh, doosh, doosh,
All right.
doosh. So give me do you have like a roll to like, I mean, it could be a fly fist of faces if you want to. It's really how you want to do it.
I mean, okay, so Riho wants to go down. She doesn't want it to hurt. She just wants to go down. So
like voluntarily?
Yeah, like she wants to like throw up so that it looks like she's getting knocked back into the other side of the ring or whatever.
Oh, like you want to like go with the hit or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say that Katra is irritated, and you clearly see or have seen that she has a inclination for violence. And she'll probably is coming at you with the intent to hurt you badly.
Yeah.
So if you want to like do like your standard like wrestling type like moves or whatever, I would say to come at 1 difficulty unless you can convince me otherwise.
No, that's fine.
So you want to roll a die with 1 difficulty?
Yeah, sure.
So I guess it's what triggers do you have again? Apply fist of faces and celebrity. What else?
Charm, show off, and take control.
I like take control. Take control sounds good. Actually, if you have take control, add an accuracy because what you're trying to do is like do like the cool wrestler stuff. So that's gonna cancel out the difficulty.
That's true. I'm basically trying to like not be clotheslined, but like make it look like she just hurt me real bad.
Okay, cool.
That's like where we're at.
Tai Chi style, just
roll me a flat with your trigger, of course. So just press your trigger button with no accuracy or difficulty.
All right. But
boink.
Oh God!
Oh!
In the
Oh, dear.
How far? What? We made it less than an hour in, and I've already failed. Bet. Let's go.
You try and do that, and as you can see, Katra is infuriated by the crowd that you have hyped up. She comes at you, and she can almost anticipate. She's a skilled fighter, also a skilled mech pilot, and she comes at you with murderous intent. As you try to like take the blow or whatever, like kind of brace yourself and go with the blow, she switches up her moves. She stops and doesn't clothesline you. She grabs both your forearms with her right hand. Just throws you to the other side of the arena, and you kind of like hit off the edge, like boosh, and you probably fall down, and you see the body of Fire on the ground, out cold, then Katra turns around and says, "Riho, this is what you all came here to see. This weakling. I'm Katra."
Ooh, you did not. You did not.
Cool. So I guess you get up and the next roll, the last roll. How do you rebuttal?
So she's gonna climb up on top of one of the posts. The one, I don't know, one that is like a reasonable jumping distance to. Yeah. So she's gonna jump up on top of this, and just like when she pilots her Lancer, she's thinking about when she would jockey another mech, right? So she's like approaching this as like.
I'm getting like anime like images right now where like there's a ephemeral like projection of your mech like on top of a top.
The power of an
It's
enemy
like
stand.
it's her spirit guardian. She doesn't have like crystals and shit like Sailor Moon. She just has a Lancer. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway,
Nice.
So she's imagining like being in this like big mech, but also like taking on this big opponent. So she's feeling like larger than life, right? And she is going to jump off of that post and aim a kick at her opponent try and
give me the special move. Give me the special move. What's the special move called?
The special move is called. She's gonna shout, "Crystal Thunder Heel Smash!"
Nice.
As she like twirls in the air and like lands like full on with both legs on this bitch's head.
All right, give me a roll and take a accuracy because you're using Crystal Thunder Heel Smash.
All right, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna.
Apply
I feel like this is.
system.
Which one?
Or take control. It's up to you.
Cool. Apply fist to faces. Neat, and then an accuracy, and then ha.
Yeah!
Oh! Natural 20. That couldn't have gone better.
Oh my god!
We did not script this.
The program doesn't lie. Crit fail, crit succeed. 2 in a row.
Yep.
So you fly off with Crystal Thunder Heel Smash off the ring, and almost like you're gliding across the arena. And you're probably taking advantage of the ship's intermittent low gravity as you just like glide a little bit more, and you land with your knees locked around Katja Sinclair's neck. You're on top of this 7-foot woman. What do you do?
So I'm on her, like on her shoulder.
Yeah, you're like it's like mid moment, like knees are locked around her shoulders.
Bet. All right. So the first thing I do is I tighten my thighs around her neck and lock my ankles so that I'm in like a really strong neck lock position. And then I just start wailing on her fucking face with my fists. Exactly.
Nice. You continue to do that. You just like punch Katja in the face, and she's trying to like pull you off, but she's slowly asphyxiating as your lock is tightening around her neck, and she's just like she goes down on one knee, and you continue to boom, 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 boom. She goes down on 2 knees, and then and more boom, 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 and then finally she just goes out, like her eyes just go white, and she falls down on the ground, and then you kind of like somersault or flip off or whatever.
Yeah.
And the announcer says, "What upset? Katja Sinclair is down! Katja Sinclair is down!" And they see the crowd.
Rico's doing that too, man. He loves an underdog, like tiny girl. Yes, just going nuts as well. Just
Nice. Yeah, Ganya's like also into it like really hard right now too. He's like, yeah, this is fucking cool, yeah. But yeah, as you somersault off, how do you let's do like your little cheer thing?
Yeah, so I just kind of like somersault away, and like I don't need to go for the pin, obviously she's out, right? Like she's out. So I pull a flower that's been tucked inside like my bra essentially of my costume, and I just sort of like drop it on top of her lifeless body at this point. Okay, it's not lifeless. It's very still though. And I'm just gonna drop it gently on top of her body and like do a little sort of like a little bow, like respectfully to my opponent, and then I'm going to circle back around the ring and start waving at my fans and like smiling really big and just like cheering with them, like this was our victory, we did it.
Nice. Yeah, as you do that, the crowd goes wild, and you turn around and start chant and whatever. But you hear 2 thumps on the mat, doosh, doosh, and you feel the presence of Katja start to stand up again. And she looks at you with a bloody lip and a bruised neck and a black eye almost that's forming on her right eye. She says, "No, I'm not done yet. You haven't seen anything. Get ready." She like does like a little motion, like, and 2 bone blades pop out of her elbows, and she's like, "Riho, you're going down!" And she like charges at you.
I did not
Give
see
me a
this
roll.
coming.
Great. Riho's gonna dodge that shit. And try, like, so I'm assuming if she's charging right, she's gonna have a lot of momentum going forward. So I'm just gonna let her pass. and once I'm behind her, we'll see if that works first.
So yeah, give me a roll. Take an accuracy. Sounds good. You're doing good so far.
All right. Does it matter which one I do? I'm just
Take control. Sounds good.
okay. Take control.
Roll. Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh.
Oh.
Holy shit. Riho's too good. Riho's way too good.
She has the championship belt for a reason.
There's
Yeah, as Katja starts charging at you, and she's like almost like when she gets closer, she's like trying to swipe at you with her elbows, and like you can almost hear the wind being cut by her like jagged bone blades that are covered in blood. Yeah, she's trying to like eviscerate you. But what do you do?
Well, basically, I imagine that my dodge is going to be like a duck and sort of like out of the way. So I'm like, oh look, that just passed right over my head. Great. And then I'm gonna jump up from behind her and try and jockey her again.
You do that. That happens.
All right, cool.
Trick's worse.
I mean, it worked the first time. So first thing I'm gonna do, lock my legs around and try and get that choke out. But I'm also gonna be instead of punching the fuck out of her this time, I'm gonna try and get control of her arms. So I'm gonna basically do kind of like almost like a back bend to like get control over her arms.
Nice. You would know, whatever you do, you're going to do it, but you have a decision. Katja is not going to stop until she probably sees you dead.
Right.
So what you're going to do is either you you try to take her out for good, or you try and do something else. She also looks enhanced in many ways. Like biologically enhanced.
All right.
I mean, obviously, bone blades.
So if I can tell that the this isn't quite working the way that I want it to.
I know it's gonna work the way you want it to. You're gonna do what you want to do, but if you don't take her out for good, she's probably gonna keep coming at you.
God, fucking sore losers, Jesus. All right, well, like any good wrestler, I keep a razor blade hidden inside the little wrist things that I keep on me at all times.
You can also like get people to stop the fight or whatever. I mean, you don't have to like.
I mean, like, no, it's fine. It's fine. We gonna make this bitch bleed. Anyway, so I pull out in all the chaos. The crowd can't see it. I pull the razor blade sort of out of my thing, and I use that to like cut the fuck out of her arms while I'm doing this. Like trying to restrain them or whatever.
Yeah.
maintaining my hold on her chokehold to try and get her to pass the fuck out still, obviously. But I'm gonna make her bleed. So I'm cutting the fuck out of her arms and shit. And then, I mean, does she react to that at all? Is she too enraged?
Yeah. You do that, and it starts to look like she literally was like on her last go, and what she was using with her elbow bone blades was it almost looks as hard on her as it is to like invoke or whatever. And yeah, you kind of continue to cut and whatever, and she starts to lose her inertia and lose her momentum, and she's slowly kind of slowing down as you're hurting her.
All right. Then if I see that that's working, I'm gonna like tuck the razor blade back and just continue to like basically try and pin her like while she's getting weaker and weaker.
Yeah.
And then once she does finally pass out, I'm gonna figure out a way to restrain her.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, she eventually goes down again as you are inflicting a good amount of damage on her, and she kind of falls down to the ground. And she's like still trying to like fight, but she's like almost like her body is like all the adrenaline is spent. She's just kind of crawling, and she's still trying to like maybe swipe at you a little bit on the ground or whatever. And then the announcer's like, "Catra's down for good this time. She's not getting back up. Everyone, give it up for Riho, the Tiny Tiger." Yeah. Catra's down. She's not getting back up.
That. All right. Riho's just gonna kind of like, I don't know, like dust off her sleeves or whatever, and just sort of like stand back up and like collect herself and like smile and wave at everyone again and like sort of do the fist pump like, we did it.
Nice. Yeah, nice.
Twice.
Yeah. We get that. We get like a kind of like a not revolving, but like a rounds of your like celebration, and you're like hyping the crowd, and Kacha's literally not doing it. She's out for good. Rico, as all that unfolds over the course of maybe like 10 or so minutes of this fight, Ganya is there with you and says, "Well, we're both headed to Tiano. I would think it'd behoove us to bring on a warrior like Rico. Would you, like Riho, would you accompany me in a meeting after this fight?"
Sure thing. I would. I'm going to be honest. That was fucking amazing, and even if nothing else, I'm just going to see if I can get her autograph or something.
That's really the reason I went to talk to her. Cool. As all that happens, and Riho, you do your like kind of rounds in the crowd, and you like rouse them up, and there's no like reward for this fight. It's just all like acclaim and for shits and giggles. I don't know. You may have met someone in the locker room that could potentially be your partner. Flyer looks to still be alive, but just like really critically injured. If you really want to, you could probably ask Katra to be your partner. I don't know you'd do that.
She didn't fit the vibe.
Yeah, there's probably a couple more fights that go on, but we kind of fade to black as all that ends, and the stories and of IPS and Cologne ship conclude, and then we will pick up somewhere far away on the planet of Tiano. So, far away, the eventual destination of the IPS in Cologne is the planet of Tiano, and there are two souls on this planet that are of paramount importance to this story. There is Buzo. How do you pronounce your full name, Siege? Like Buzo's full name?
I think it's Beckham Buzo Zabani.
Cool. Yeah, we have Beckham Buzo Zabani, and we have Akizvha. What's your last name, Akizvha?
Stavrots.
Yeah, Akizvha Stavrots. You two are in Chibodi City. It is the headquarters of Teist. It's the all cultures, kind of like New York or Tokyo of the planet of Tiano. And it's a bustling city, and I'll just read it out here. The city is built in the name of unity and sustained by more than 500,000 souls. Chibodi City is the gleaming jewel of the Carib system and the people of Tiano. Its beginnings were a small farming village before the breaking of the House's War, the war against the House of Sulfur.
But after the war swallowed Tiano, Infakane would arrive and aid the small farming village, and it would become an Ikanda, a military establishment, and then start the beginnings of an unparalleled city. Now, with Infakane long gone, their duty to bring peace to Tiano completed. Djibouti's urban planning and design plays an example to the planet's other nation states who seek to emulate the city's greatness. Amidst the hustle and bustle, though, Djibouti is like most other cities. There are those with and those without. Infrastructure creeping towards despair, complex con units needing maintenance. As of late, there has been reports of basic infrastructure failures like transit, micromobility, and other services experiencing interruptions. Besides the groans of a city needing a little tender loving care, the populace is a medley of Tiano's nation states that live in relative harmony, persisting towards a better Tiano. All the while, Teist in Helm, which is the administrative body of Teist, its government body, makes concessions and argues for the future of the Carib system. And at the seat of Helm is where you two find yourself hearing a news broadcast that catches your eye. And it's the voice of Shuma Kane, who looks like... See if I can find Shuma Kane. There she is.
Before you go any further, can you spell Djibouti for me?
Tjot body.
Pjot
Body. B-O-D-Y.
I had that very wrong, so thank you.
Well, I can't pronounce shit, so you're probably right. But yeah, this is what Shuma Kane looks like. And this is her address to the whole planet and the whole system of Caribs. She says, "A journey I take for all of us. I've been honored to serve you all, my kin, from each of the four corners and distant bodies within the Carib system. We fought for our independence, this freedom we now all enjoy. I will be your voice to ensure it. Though I mourn the fact that when I return, only your children will know of me, your children's children to be exact. You are all so precious to me, my people, mi familia, Tianons, all of us." And you all, Buzo and Akizvha, you know that this is Shuma Kane's address to the people of Tiano, as she is going to leave and be the spokesperson for the Carib system. She's going to join Infakane on a mission to go to the Karakan Trade Barons with a whole bunch of other people, boarding the ship of the IPS in Cologne to negotiate their independence. And there's a lot of similar stories of Tiano happening all across the Indel. And Shuma Kane is representative of this system. But it's a long journey, and when she gets back, because of relativity, everyone she knows will probably be dead.
Yep. It sucks.
But with that news broadcast, we catch you two in a we'll say like in a bar as your attendee, or your person who's attending you. Her name is Anayash C. She looks like this. She doesn't have the eagle. She's she looks like she does. Tan skin, some paint, some effects of feathers and stuff. She looks very Tinoan in her dress and such. And looks like she's got a couple of data pads in her hands. And she comes back to you two who are sitting down, and she says, "Akizvha, Buzo, what do you think?" She kind of like nods her head at the address.
Honestly, Buzo just kind of shrugs at it, and because to him, he always was like a crisis management kind of guy. This doesn't really seem to preclude any crisis. This seems to like kind of solve all the crises. So he kind of shrugs and is like, I think I might be out of a job. We'll have to see.
She says back to you, "Yeah, if it's successful, I have a lot of faith for the journey, but space is wide, I hear, and there's no guarantee she'll make it back."
Well, that's true. I mean, the Umfakane have so much control over space around here. I can't imagine that they would let something happen to her in transit.
Well, it's not a matter if they let something happen, it's a matter of whether or not the baronies decide to do anything about it. I say as I take a sip of my chocolate martini.
Yeah.
Super spicy.
And Ayasha kind of unfolds her hand towards your way and says exactly, Akizvha. That is my same worry. But both Buzo and Akizvha, introduce your characters and what they look like and who are they.
Feel free to go first.
Alrighty. Buzo Zabani is a massive, meaty slab of a man. I kind of assumed that he would be the tallest, if not the second tallest person in this party, but he easily outweighs everyone here. He's a big guy. He likes his food. But he kind of just looks like a regular, I don't know, Umfakane, colonial dude from one of their, member planets, kind of like Tias, except, the only other thing that kind of sets him apart from other people is that, shit, we're in a bar, so he'd probably be wearing, a hoodie and his denim battle jacket that's done up with,
Nice.
1,000 pins and patches, and, there's a couple of hidden little, Umfakane ones in there. He might have the shield or, the face mask hidden somewhere in there. There's some leopard patterning, so it's subtle. But he otherwise just looks like a bar punk.
Nice. And who is Buzo?
He's...
Oh, you kind of described it, but...
Yeah, he kind of just works, crisis management and makes sure that if shit goes down, he will be the first person there to help, I don't know, set stuff right, or, push back enemies, or save people trapped under rubble. He is ready to go. So it's a little sad knowing that everything's gonna be set right on this planet. I'm sure that the weather is very nice for him, so he probably doesn't want to leave that bad.
Yeah.
Actually, how is the planet? Is it like the Caribbean and it's tropical?
Yeah, it's very tropical. Almost every nation state is like an island jungle.
This is tragic.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. Buzo, you've probably been on the planet for a while. If you're in Fakane and you're from the Uno Kinki, which is the paramedics, that's what I'm going to call them, the paramedics of Fakane, the MP War Order, you would know that Shuma Kane is doing this because, and what the rumors have been of your time being on the planet, is that this is a last-ditch effort to solve the tribulations going on Tiano. The nation states are all vying. It seems like they're all headed towards vying to secure their own political aims. And Shuma Kane's if I go here and solve all the problems of giving us legitimacy and giving us resources, then everything back home will stop. I'm solving the problem for the future kids. So you don't get the sense that everything's gonna be solved here.
Yeah.
With her leader. Cool. And Akizvha.
So Akizvha is sitting in the bar. He's pretty tall, pretty thin. He's got perfectly styled and coiled hair, some lapel pins. He's trying to keep his colors in line with the local fashions and things. So he's out of place a little bit just by how clean everything is, but he's got lots of his bag is designer made from someone on Tiano. But he looks very casual. He's nonchalant. He's always watching people and he's looking at them while he's carefully sitting at his drink and monitoring his own data pad. But whenever anyone meets his gaze, he's always ready to meet them there with a charming word or a smile. As far as who Akizvha is, he's the product of Mifakane immigrants who went back to Cradle once everything was once everyone had been reconnected. Some people couldn't wait to get out from under the influence of Shaka. Some people were uncomfortable with that, and a lot of those people went on to become NHP specialists when they rejoined Union proper. Akizva's family has been watching over the Heartbreak NHP for several generations, but recently the matchmaking life form that they watch over has been acting funny. It's been creating conflicts between different communities, different colonies that it helps plan. And so Akizvha has gone back into the Endel, back into Mifkane space to try to help rehabilitate Heartbreak and figure out why his matchmaking NHP is creating perfect enemies instead of perfect love.
Nice. Yeah, as Aniash posed that question to both of you, what do you think about the address? Kizu, you probably noticed that the people, the bar is probably, it's like a transit station bar, so it's like an airport bar essentially. Because you all are gonna pick up the other two that are gonna be arriving on the planet soon. But you get the sense that the people who are also watching the address seem pretty cynical about it. You probably actually give me a trigger roll. Do you have read a situation?
You're darn right I do.
Yeah, baby, give me a roll. Yes, with a 10, you're able to pick up that the 4 nations are represented here in this bar. There's a Caliphate of Pisha. You probably know that they're more militaristic and loosely they bore the brunt of the damage and bore the brunt of casualties and damage of the breaking of the house's event, which was a fight against the House of Smoke. There's the Grand Duchy of Korea, which are they look like Spaniards essentially, just like high-tech future Spaniards. They're also represented here. These the trade company of trade company of Bria. There's no distinct features about them, and there's a Sea of Tano, and these people who are like who Queen Shumakane is like their queen, their civic queen, and they're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be super great, like awesome stuff. So there's a bit of details aside, there's a bit of mixed opinions about the address from people in the bar.
Possible tensions.
Yeah. Is there is Heartbreak with you?
Heartbreak isn't with me. Heartbreak is kind of it's coming out of a cycle. So she's there. She could kind of ask questions and pose things, but it's mostly me just kind of holding up or showing the data pad to her. But she's at a securitized facility with any other non-Shaka NHPs that have to be kept off of Mifakane networks.
Cool. I don't know how long you've been on this planet, but since you arrived, specifically in the city of Chibodi, Heartbreak has probably given you inclinations that there's another presence here, but you probably swiped it away, and they've kind of went back and forth about, oh, there is a presence, oh, there isn't a presence, there's some error messages going on, and it just seems unreliable. And I think that kind of falls in court with the other defects that are going on with Heartbreak.
Yeah, indeed. One of the things Akizvha is looking for is the influence of Shaka on these people as well. So any of those irregularities would be explained by, him assuming that Shaka is just doing something to these people.
Cool. Yep, I would say we'll just run with that. But yeah, Aniash asked that question about what do you all thought about the address.
I think that a solution 50 or 60 years down the road may perhaps be too late. The piece here is a little bit tenuous. Just look over there, and I'll point across the bar and point at someone who's arguing with their server about a bill. They're obviously from 2 different nations, and things are starting to escalate.
Yeah, Aniash will say, yes, that is a unfortunate reality, but as of now, things seem to be okay. While the rumors still exist that the trade company of Bria is doing underhanded dealings and the Grand Duchy of Korea is seeking for supremacy over Taist, those are yet to be proven. And I think while in this tenuous peace, this might be our best chance at future successes or longevity as a system. Buzo, what about you?
Buzo's kind of he's busy watching the people kind of fight over the bill, and I'm assuming that one of them is probably those guys that want to dominate all of Tiast and Helm and stuff. So Buzo's just gonna shake his head and be like, "No one likes being told what to do. No matter what, no matter what, someone's gonna ruffle somebody's feathers. So here's hoping it'll be a small ruffle."
Yeah. Aniash looks over at the 2 arguing over the bill, and she looks at them with familiarity, and she says, "Well said, Buzo.
there always will be strife. That is true. And she calls out and she says, Oscar and Oscar and Quaylar, quit fussing around. Come over here and meet your compatriots. And you see the two fighting over the bill. Looks like they were fighting over who was going to actually pay it.
Oh my God.
And the two individuals are. Let's see, there's actually 4 of them that popped
Multiply.
up. Yes. 4 people approach you two.
Oh damn.
These are members of Teist. They are essentially you all. Just they've been here longer on the planet, and they're from the planet. Teist. This team suit is composed of the person in the front, Quaylar. She's a leader. She's a tan-skinned individual. She's from the Sea of Tiano. There's Oscar in the back, the dark-skinned individual. He's from the Caliphate of Pisha. There is Okuli, which is the one on the middle, the short hair, kind of looks like Quaylar. She's from the Grand Duchy of Korea. And there's Helena, who is from the trade company of Bria. They're, again, much like Teist, they are a culmination of all the nations here to do good work in the name of Teist. And Quaylar approaches and she says, Aniash, these are the half of the new pilots that are sent here to provide security for the breaking of the house's celebration. And Aniash says, yes, it'd be good for you all to meet. You'll be working closely together.
I raise my drink if I have one. I assume I do.
Yeah, she nods at you and she says, well met. Your name is?
You can call me Buzo. And again, give her a cheer with the drink that I've got.
Cool. And then she looks at you, Akizvha, and yours.
Akizvha Savrats, and apologize for being out of uniform. All of you look quite imposing. I take it you saw the address?
Yes. She kind of looks back at her team and she says, yes, we did see the address and thank you for your attention to detail in our uniforms. Oscar designed them themselves. Well, his kin in the Caliphate of Pisha. Their uniforms designed by them. They are quite fitting. Yours is not so bad itself.
You're all right, but
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here looking like a bum. That's
Yeah.
fine. I'll shrink into my seat with my drink.
Yeah. Quaylar says to your comment about the address, she says, yes, seems things are being setting in motion. And you hear a comment back from Oscar. It says, not likely. And she kind of side-eyes him and doesn't say anything else.
Expand?
Quaylar says, never matter. Don't pay any mind to Oscar. The Pishians are quite skeptical folk. Anyways, Aniash, we should be going, right? The others should be arriving. And Aniash says, that is true.
Oh, I'm making a mental note of that.
Cool.
I don't know, I've only been here for a little while. I'm gonna just let them play off each other.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just quietly drink and look over at Akizvha and just...
Nice. Do you guys, you probably have like a little moment here to like interact with anyone in the bar or like Team Suit or even Aniash if you have a quick question, but you guys do soon have to board a transit bus to go pick up your teammates.
I can't really think of anything. Yeah.
Cool. Well, as you all do your brief introductions, Aniash leads you all out of the bar and to a, what do they call them, a tram. A tram to the uplift station here in Chibodi City, where your two compatriots will be arriving from a big ass ship. As you all board this, maybe like 10 or so person tram, it's only you all in here. And it's about a maybe like 10-minute kind of tram ride over to the uplift station. And as you all get in, you see Quaylar
Quaylar and Okuli kind of talking amongst each other. They look really really friendly with each other, like really, really friendly, like they're probably in a relationship. And then you see Helen kind of looking off to the side of the window, and then you see Oscar just deadly staring at you two, like intently staring at you two. And then Oscar says, "Tell me, what do you all know of independence? What does it mean to you? If you're fighting for Teist, that means you must understand what it means you're fighting for."
Well, I'm waiting to see if Akizvha wants to say anything, because otherwise I'm gonna stand on my punk gospel.
I'll look over at Buzo with a raised eyebrow. I was like, I'm here for my own reasons, but like all citizens of Union, I believe that we have to uphold the 3 utopian pillars of humanity. Everyone's needs need to be fulfilled. No walls need to stand between worlds or people, and no one should be held in bondage. As long as those are met, I think that the people of Tiano and all of the Carib systems should be free to live life the way that they want to live it.
I give it the chef's kiss. Mwah. Textbook answer.
Yeah, that's very good.
And I'm here to give voice to the little guy, so he can sit there in the boardroom. I'm here to make sure that no one, and like I point out the tram if there's people. I assume that we're like driving through neighborhoods or there's like towns or people.
Yeah. Djibouti is a really big city. It's somewhat on the size of like Tokyo or whatever. It's like really, really big.
Okay.
But yeah, there's like neighborhoods and different things you pass through.
Then like after I mention that, I say so Akizvha can handle the boardrooms. I'm gonna make sure that he's okay, and they're okay, and she's okay, and I just start like randomly pointing at stuff.
Nice,
and I was like, yeah. So then I look back at him and go, so what about you?
So as you both say that, Oscar's gonna look at your response, or hear your response, Akizvha, and say, "An idealist, one who doesn't understand the practicality of ensuring Union's pillars," as you put it. And then as you start in, Buzo, and Yash is gonna tune into the conversation as you guys are having in a group or whatever. She's gonna say, "You're right. That is it." She points out to the just out of the tram window. She says, "Independence means securing the livelihood of all this. That is what it means."
Mm-hmm. I mean, there are a lot of...
My dude has the freaking pillars of the Union memorized. Like, I'm impressed.
I know, right?
Yeah, I didn't expect that, but
I didn't expect it. It's a really good answer.
yeah, you're the man from Earth. It makes sense.
Impressive.
But we're gonna help you secure your livelihood, and in the process, I think we'll all get to know each other pretty well and have a lot of fun. But I really think we need to take a closer look at these uniforms. I can see there's a lot of inlays and cultural things here. I just continue picking apart like the choices they made with the uniforms for a little while until he shuts me up.
I am watching with amusement.
Oh man, I love you.
Oscar's gonna look down and look a little insecure as like his people designed the uniforms, and he's going. Then go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like the black boots, the hard angles here, these kind of is. I don't know. Where does that come from? Where does the desire for that kind of authority come from?
Ooh.
Yeah. Oscar will respond to that, and he'll say, "Unlike you, who doesn't understand the nitty-gritty of ensuring independence and seeing the pillars through, these uniforms bear the resemblance of getting the hard thing done. The black symbolizes the fires we must put out, the soot that goes across our body. The blue symbolizes our hearts and souls joining together, and the gold, it is the beauty of our people. That is everything that we are, and the Caliphate of Pisha embodies it all."
Well, fair enough. Just looks a little set comedy to me, but okay.
Yeah.
That's-
I say nothing. I'm just quietly doing a little head shake. Just
Nice. As a little, you make that comment, a little like silence or like awkward silence kind of happens. Helena, the one who's like from the Grand Duchy or the trade company of Bria, she turns around from looking out of the window, and she answers the question that was kind of laid out there. She says, independence means having allies and having those that will back you up. Because it doesn't matter if you're strong enough to defend your own, hold up Union's pillars, have nice outfits. If you don't have others who give you legitimacy, it means nothing.
The big galaxy can't do it alone.
The paradox of statehood. You aren't a country until another country says you're a country.
Exactly. But the rest of them, Cooley doesn't have anything particularly to like add, and yeah, they don't have anything particular to add. So, if you guys have any other questions for them, if you don't have any other questions, you'll just make your way towards the uplift station.
I just, on the way there, I'm gonna give like Akizvha a little elbow and just like lean in and be like, "Sec commie."
Apparently, candid political discourse is not as appreciated amongst the military as I would have assumed. I'll try to be a little bit more diplomatic in the future and not call people setcommie to their face.
It's like calling someone Nazi.
Yeah, I'll just give him a shoulder pat and be like, it's okay. I'm sure there will be people with more gold on their uniform that you can impress.
That's gracious. That's what I need, a legion of jackbooted thugs glittering in the sunlight.
Yeah.
That's why
yeah.
we're helping the queen.
As you all continue on your tram ride, you see a bustling city that's a whole bunch of different types of people living in pretty much harmony. CompCon units and construction units going about the city, single occupancy vehicles moving around, bikes and all that jazz. It's a really nice city, a really amazing city. It's a wonder that this thing is existing in the rumors of dissent across the planet Tiano. But anyways, shortly before you all arrive at the uplift station to meet your two other compatriots, Aniash says, "All right, Team Suit, they'll stop. When the rest of the team groups together, we will meet you all back at Helm's headquarters on the morrow. You all be well, and try not to incite any more political dissent or arguments in your ways." And then Quaylar says, "I'll keep them in line." And then she looks at you all and says, "It was good meeting you all. I will see you tomorrow."
Pleasure as well.
Yep. I give her a nice little salute.
Cool. As the tram stops and Team Suit gets off, you all are left there with Aniash and a couple more people, just random people hop on the tram ride, and you have like another 2 minutes before you reach your destination. Aniash kind of sits down cross-legged and sits with her hands also crossed over her lap, and she says, "So, thoughts on Team Suit?"
They seem like they work really well together.
I haven't gotten a lot of time to get over to the Caliphate. I think I have a lot to learn. It seems like they've been through a lot, and I take what Oscar said to heart. I don't necessarily know what it takes beyond reading the reports and talking to people in hospitals and around the city. So maybe they've got a point. We need to visit more areas outside of the city.
It's probably
Yes,
true.
and Aniash will say, "That's a great idea. You all will have time before the breaking of the house's event where you'll have to provide security. It's some 3 weeks away, so if you find it in your fancy to travel to the Caliphate to Pisha, I would welcome it. Possibly even talk to Oscar, and if you get the time, which I don't know if you will, you'll be able to talk with the Caliphate to Pisha's representative at Helm. And Helm is the administrative body over Teist." Cool.
You've got to have some pretty solid food over there, at the very least, if they've been weathering sieges for the past few decades.
It's not that good. It's quite bland. No spice, no flavor. All their flavor comes in their personalities, not their food. They have none left for their food.
That can't be true. I'm sure it's good. Everyone says their food is better. I mean, I've had amazing food here.
It's pretty bad. I'll be honest. It's pretty bad.
Noted. I
But
really
yeah.
want to go there.
Aniash will say if you have any other questions about your general mission, you guys will get an official debrief in the team reunites where your whole team gets together. But if you guys have any other questions, she'll be happy to answer them.
I can't really think of anything. I guess now that the Soot team is gone, I'll kind of awkwardly ask, so should we be coming in with full uniforms tomorrow, or?
Well, after meeting, that's a good idea.
I didn't exactly expect to meet them like this.
We'll be able to print some uniforms for you all if you all, once you get together, you have an idea of what you want it to look like. We do have some official uniforms that we will provide as you all representatives of or security forces for the breaking of the house's event, and the uniforms are going to look like Tice uniforms. So they're going to provide you those, but if you have any special requests, they can definitely do that.
I can't think of anything. I was just wondering whether or not my character should be like in a hard suit or something for this stuff, but
Are you guys in a hard suit? Are you guys in a hard? Oh no, you're in a jacket. You're not in a hard suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I'll probably have the uniform, but I would like a stripe or an armband or something that's like red and white that denotes like Union or Cradle, like volunteer forces.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds good. Cool. Yeah. Well, if you guys have any other questions, shortly thereafter, you all will arrive at the uplift station, where there's a huge crowd there to watch Queen Shumakane take off to board the IPSN Cologne and go do good and save the whole planet from all its potential misery. But as you all arrive, and you guys are with Aniash, so you get a bit of brevity and the crowd kind of parts, and you guys can go to where you need to go as the first drop ships from the IPSN Cologne start to descend down towards the uplift station. You see the massive ship. Oh, it's like it's a speck in the sky in like the stratosphere of the IPSN Cologne because it can't come all the way down to like ground or whatever. But you see this massive ship, and you see a whole bunch of drop ships come down. But the first one is carrying your compatriots, Riho and Rico. Names. Yeah, Riho and Rico. Riho and Rico. As you all, IPSN Cologne reaches the Carib system and hits the stratosphere, the orbit of Tiano, you all board on to a drop ship with Ganya. Riho, you see Rico, and there's maybe a couple other officials here from the IPSN folk. You all board on, and as you're kind of moving from the IPSN Cologne down towards the planet itself, Ganya will kind of nudge Rico, like, talk to her. Come on, talk to her. Like, get her. Come on.
Okay, fine. I assumed you were going to introduce us or something. You were the one looking to hire a Lancer. Anyway, never mind. Fine. So Rico is going to approach Riho and probably just walk straight up to her. He is finally not wearing like his big orange fancy gloves anymore, and just like sort of puts his hand straight out to her and says like, Riho, I saw your fight against that massive, terrifying woman, and I hear that we are going to be working together very soon. My name is Rico Zeledon, and you can call me Rico.
Rico, pleasure to meet you.
Rico.
How are we going to be working together?
Were you not? Maybe you haven't been hired onto the system yet. I was going to be working for Tiast to be part of the security for a major event coming up very soon, I believe. That's about all the details I know. I had heard.
Yeah, that job. I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of who I was going to be working with. It's so nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well. You are downright fearsome out in the ring out there, like a terrifying visage. If I were to say just my own experience, but I assume that you have a similar skill set out on the battlefield in your mech.
More similar than you know.
Terrifying. I cannot wait to see.
Cool. As you go ahead.
You know, you're fine.
Yeah, as you make that introduction, Riho, you see another figure. Looks, I don't know if you know who Impakani are, but it looks to be a person dressed in paraphernalia and accoutrement that looks to be from a group of people that are blah blah blah. Anyways, Ganya walks up to you and says, "Thank you for the introductions, Rico, Riho. Quite a good job. I echo everything my new friend has said. We watched your performance from the stage. I must say, I was impressed by your ability to not exact complete force over Katra. That's a lot of restraint. I don't know if I could have made the same decision myself."
Well, I mean, when you do work in a, let's call it a performance art, you have to learn to be very precise with your actions.
I hear that. Though, before we were deployed, I spoke with the commander of the IPS in Cologne, just to understand what you all may be facing on Tiano. And I hear that Katra is also deployed to the planet to provide security for the Grand Duchy of Kriya. One of the nation states on the planet. I don't know if you're familiar with the goings-on on Tiano.
Not much.
I'm going to be honest. I only skimmed exactly what our mission is going to be, but I know we're doing security at an important event in the history of Tiano, so I'm looking forward to it. I want to go back to something you said a moment ago. You said you met with the commander of the Cologne.
Yes, and God, their name is blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
He says
I swear I put that shit down somewhere. Maybe I didn't. Okay, anyways, their name. There's a person. Oh, there, I found it. Yeah, they met with Colonel Commander IPSN Fleet Commander Van Dirkman Gould. They are the commander of the IPSN Cologne, and Ganya says, "Yes, it's a part of my mission. I am to retrieve Shumakane, and he seems to do something similar to what he did earlier, and be reluctant to tell you the details of why he's supposed to retrieve Shumakane, blah blah blah. There's a bunch of details about it, but he says I'm supposed to retrieve Shumakane and bring her back to the IPSN Cologne. So a later diplomatic foray can occur. Yes."
Very interesting. I suppose I just didn't know. I didn't realize you were so important that you would be meeting with like the commander of the entire colony ship and things like that. I'm realizing now that I don't know very much about you at all, my new friend Ganya.
Ganya looks at Riho and says, "Well, I'm not as illustrious as Riho here. She's known across the Endel from what I hear. But myself, as you can probably tell, I'm Impakane. I am a MP of the War Order. The Pacific Order is the Loins Order, Undudu. And I've been tasked with a mission that sees myself here with you for this momentary moment. It's the simple of it."
Once more internally panicking over all of the mystery involved in this terrifying man. All right, well, that sounds very interesting. Rico is actually gonna like pull out his his what do they call it? Data plate?
Mhm.
Yeah, and start like looking through his mission stuff to see if like should I know who Shumekana is?
Shumakane, yeah. You would know that Shumakane is, of course, the queen, or you'd probably know that much. If you know anything about Tiano, it's that Shumakane is the queen, and she's on a very important mission to join up on some other important diplomatic shit.
Like Rico's like, right? I definitely should have read this earlier. Like realizing there's like a whole bunch of like history and like important information in this thing that he did not read until just now.
Yes, nuance.
Listen,
Um,
Riho's just out here like, all I know is I'm supposed to come prevent people from getting hurt. Or
Yeah.
hurt people. I'm not really sure. Both?
Both, yeah, both.
Both are
First
good.
one, then the other.
Ganya's gonna say, he's gonna put his hand on Rico's shoulder and say, "But what my friend came over here to ask you was, I don't know if I'll see you again. So, can I get your autograph?"
Oh, of course. Do you have something that you want autographed?
Yes, and this is not a typical autograph. Ganya pulls off a bead that is kind of like affixed to a bracelet on his arm, and looks like it was integrated to his heart suit, his skin tight heart suit, but it kind of detaches, and it goes towards you, and he just says, "Just could you just do your pose that you did on the flyer, and say some slogan, and the dollar bead will record it all, and I will treasure it and take it back to my people."
Of course. She's gonna kind of like step back and like look straight into the camera, I guess, and do her little finger gun pose and say, "See you in the ring."
Nice. Yeah, and so so the dollar bead just floats up, and it's like a ferrofluid that like just disperses into like an unknowable amount of like small pieces. And as you do your little thing, it just repeats it back and says, "See you in the ring," and it's like it's recorded now. And then
I love that.
Ganya says, "Thank you, that was perfect." He hands one to Rico. I'm sure you would want one of these as well.
Aw.
This is incredibly fancy. I was just going to get it on paper.
Paper. You're one of those type. Okay. Cool.
Can I actually sort of like just try to gloss over and keep this thing and not record? Like, I want to sort of like direct the conversation away from this so that I can keep this little thing he just handed me and just get a regular paper autograph and just sort of sneakily hide
He's
away.
gonna give it to you. Yeah, he'll give it to you. So you can
Okay.
you can use it. Yeah. So you have $1 bead. Yeah.
Cool. I don't know what that means, but I'm loving it.
Dollar bead
One.
is you probably don't know, you'll probably have to research it, but
Okay. Yeah, I just think it's interesting.
it's an Interplanetary tech. But yeah, Ganya gets his autograph, and he kind of wishes you well as you guys are embarking on your mission. And he probably starts some general conversations about your moves and tries to learn a little bit about what you got going on. And he probably starts to learn a little bit more about you too, Rico. But as you all kind of catch up and meet or whatever, your dropship eventually arrives on the planet of Tiano and the city of Chibodi, and we will take you all to the blah blah blah. Maybe it's going to be dark. I don't know. Let's check real quick. Is that dark for you guys? Can you guys see that?
I can see it.
I can see it. Yes.
Aha! I fixed it. Yes. So
It's my new desktop background.
yes, the setting sun over Tiano, over Chibodi, Tiano's most prosperous city. You all see a whole bunch of things going on, ships going every which way and forth. And since the dropships are arriving from the IPS in Cologne, there's much more activity around. Eventually, you all arrive down, and your dropship sets down, and you see a bunch of the people that are on the dropship with you kind of fled out. And Ganya is not going to leave. He sees you all kind of walk out, and he says, "I will take this to heart." Looking at you, Riho, and Rico. He says to you, Rico, says, "It was great meeting you, Rico. I hope that you catch up on your studies or develop new ones. I guess that's what you're doing."
Correct. Suppose good luck with your diplomatic mission.
Yep. As you say that, you see a attendee of or a gaggle of people walking towards your direction, and and you're almost like one of those situations where you like pass by and you see Queen Shumakane, a whole bunch of like armed guards and dignitaries that is accompanying her, and then you see Ganya kind of wave by at you all, and also a hey at Queen Shumakane as you pass, and Shumakane looks at you too, like very like like regal, and they pass on. As you all walk forward, you see a sign that says Riho and Rico that's being held up by like a Capcom unit, and you see 3 others. You see Buzo, you see Akizvha, and you see Aniash. All of these you may have picked up on your dossiers or your data slates or whatever. These are the people you're supposed to meet. So as you all approach, Aniash says, Buzo, Akizvha, these are your accompanying compatriots. This is Riho and Rico.
No. And I'm gonna immediately like get distracted and pull out my data slate or cell phone or something and start doing searches.
I'll offer you both a handshake. Say, welcome. We're your liaison officers. Welcome to the city.
Yeah,
pleasure to meet you.
Tiano.
How was your trip?
It was
long.
a very long trip. I did not realize that the man that I have been hanging out with for the past couple of days was like a person who's going to be delivering the fucking queen of this whole place to the I've been hanging out with this man thinking he was just a regular dude or whatever. It turns out I'm like fucking hanging out with goddamn terrifying military leaders and whatnot.
Well, not everyone who's important has a public persona. That's understandable.
I feel like at this point I would probably be staring at Riho and like I just silently mouth the champ.
She's gonna finger guns at him.
I'm gonna give Akizvha like a big, just open hand like chest smack and just that's the champ.
But yeah, we're here we can get you acquainted in the city. Of course, we're gonna need to get you taken to the printer at some point. Chibodi City's got a lot of small town charm. I really think you're gonna enjoy it here.
When you say small town charm, I'm gonna
Yeah.
just like look up at all the skyscrapers,
Skyscrapers.
and then look back at you, and
We get the
then
same thing.
just, but that's the champ.
Yes, I'm Riho, the champ.
Champion of what?
I didn't realize that we were bringing celebrities here too.
Well,
It just, now this is cool and exciting.
internally Riho is like a little uncomfortable because she's like, I'm not used to people being hyper fans. This is very strange. Go away.
Right.
Yeah.
You say the champ of what? She is a very accomplished wrestler. Is that the correct term? Or prize fighter? I don't know what the way you prefer to be called.
Professional
But
wrestler.
I watched her absolutely destroy a mountain of a woman just a few days ago, and it was a sight to see, believe me.
Well, hopefully you're only gonna be fighting in the ring here, and you're not gonna be fighting on the streets because I gotta tell you, things have been pretty calm, quiet. There's some tension, but hopefully your time here with Teist and in the Carib system is going to be just a smooth opportunity to stretch your legs out and see what the system has to offer.
Sounds great.
The dramatic irony of this is absolutely killing me.
Yeah.
But Rico would say, of course, yes, of course. We hopefully that kind of thing will not be necessary at this event that we are going to be overseeing, and he's going to like be obviously reading from his his data slate, like this joining of the houses, or no, breaking of the houses. It's the opposite of that.
Yeah. As you say that, Aniash kind of chimes in and says, well, looks like you are meeting well. I'll say that this first meeting has gone better than what I saw in the past with Team Suit. And, of course, Riho and Rico, you don't know what they're talking about, but you all seem to be getting a lot better along than them. And Aniash says, it is the Breaking of the Houses event. It is the annual celebration of the coming together of the people of Tiano. There will be a briefing for you all in detail tomorrow when we meet Helm. But for right now, I am going to be taking you all to your temporary hotel here in Chibodi City. There you'll have a day or two to get accustomed to the sights and sounds. I know some of you, this will be new experiences. And maybe for others of you too. Chibodi is quite a large city. But after those 2 days, we'll be going to Helm, where we'll be meeting with the leaders, essentially, of this planet.
Good, I can't wait. And Rico sort of adjusts his massive backpack that is clearly just full of jangling metal stuff.
Nice.
It will be great to put down my roots.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what is your mech in pieces? Some assembly required there?
No, I brought my own Omni hook, and I have a few supplies that I'm going to need for some of my experiments. And like I've been working with a lot of hard light systems lately, and so it's really just like a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And then,
I do my best.
So after you mention that, I'm gonna then point to Riho and be like, so then you're the muscle.
Sure.
This is a good.
Nice.
And I just don't elaborate at all on what Buzo does, but I'm huge.
Cool. Enios kind of taps you on the shoulder, or I guess like on like the forearm because you're really tall, and she says, "You'll do just fine, Buzo. You'll do just fine." Well, let us all aboard on the tram, and I'll take you to your hotel. And as you all leave, you see the dropship with Ganya and Queen Shumakane take off. Make its way up to IPS and Cologne as several more ships are exchanged between the two. And as you get on the tram and start to board and make your way, to the hotel or whatever, Riho, you see the last figure who seems to have just arrived on the planet is a mountain of a woman in bandages and in a crutch and in a neck brace. It is Katra, who has just now gotten off one of the drop ships. And that's when the tram kicks off. And we'll take you all to your destination, and we'll take a 10-minute break here.